Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about red flags in prison relationships. I received a question on Tumblr asking me what are the red flags for a cheating inmate, and I want to do this video a little bit larger than that and talk about all the red flags that could show that an inmate is not in the relationship for the right reasons. I think the first red flag that comes to mind is money. If the inmate asks you a lot of money, if it's just small amounts but very often, or if it's large amount of money. For example, if their TV breaks, so then you send them $300 so they can buy a new one, but then the week after that their fan breaks or their TV breaks again. I swear I heard a story when one guy's TV was breaking every week and the person sent the money at least 3 times before they were like, Obviously, it's okay to send a little bit of money once you are in a committed relationship, or even just as a pen pal if you want to help out, but never big amounts and never that regularly. In my case, I'm trying to think. I think I sent money to a pen pal one time, and I bought a few books, and I bought some commissary. It was in Texas, so I could buy directly for him. I did those small gestures usually like for Christmas or something like that, if one of them were really in trouble at some point, depending of how long we've been writing and how close we are. I might help him. I say him because all my pen now are men, but I would certainly not make it an habit. I don't think you should send money right away. I think you should establish a relationship first, and I think someone asking you something right away when you barely know them it's a red flag from the start. Now, of course, inmates need money. They are struggling, the food they are given is not enough. Everything is incredibly expensive, like it's double what you pay in your regular store, so they do need help, and some of them might really have no one else and nothing else. So you just have to think and like just be smart about it. Now, I've been married to an inmate for 2 years and a half, something like that, and I don't think I've ever sent him money since we've been married, actually, and I sent him money twice before. Once I just had a certain amount of money given back to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna send him something, and because I saw the fees, I decided to send him quite a bit, which was $100. And then later on I sent him a list of music I liked, and I sent him, I think it was $40 so he could buy, because I think it was like 20 songs and the song is almost $2. So I sent him the money so he could buy the song if he was interested in it, and if he didn't want the song then he could do whatever he wants with that money. But that's the only time I actually send money directly to him. Now, obviously, I visit, so I do spend a lot of money on him. Just for that one day of visitation, I would say I spend between $30 to $40 on food and pictures. We usually buy one picture, sometimes two. It used to be two, but that's $2 for one picture. I don't know if we need that many pictures of us. I also bought him a couple of quarterly packages when they still existed in Florida, and that's actually what I would advise when you don't know the person too much. Like, if there's a way that you can order for them, like if they tell you, I'm in need of this, whatever it is, soap, stationery, whatever, they say, I'm in need in this, like I really can't buy it myself, like I don't have any money but I really need this, then see if there's a way that you can buy it for them without sending the money. And I know it's like it's a little controlling, but this is just, like I said, when you start writing to someone, you kind of have to be careful, and maybe you don't know them yet. Once you know them, hopefully you can trust them. Then of course I pay for the phone calls, I buy the stamps for the JP, and so on. About the phone calls, obviously you're gonna put money on their account because you want them to call you. That's fine. That's fine, and you're probably gonna spend a lot of money on that phone, so you should be careful with that. But if you start sending a lot of money but not getting that many phone calls, just try to kind of keep track on how much money you put on the phone and how many minutes you actually spend on the phone to see if that matches. Of course, it's okay if they call, other people. Like, you might put money on the phone and they might call their mom or their sister or their friend, and that's okay. But when you start getting very little phone calls but still spending as much money, you might want to wonder if they are calling someone else as irregularly as they are calling you. And who and why? On the same note, if you have several days of visitation and they only want you to visit that specific day or maybe even that specific time, you might want to just pop up at a different time and on a different day, and just to see if someone else is here. I hate that I'm sounding like I'm paranoid, but I swear I've seen a lot of things, and I've heard even more, and pretty much those things happen everywhere. So I mean, I don't want you to get paranoid, but if you have someone that is very, very specific about when you're supposed to visit or not, this is just suspicious. Again, it's totally okay if they do have visits from someone else. Like, they can have friends, family, like, everything's fine as long as you are aware. I'm just saying that sometimes the guy gets a girlfriend on a Saturday and the baby mama on Sunday, and that's not pretty. You just don't want to be any of those women. I've heard of girlfriends coming from overseas and only getting that one visit and not getting that special visit because someone else used it last month. And I don't think it's just me. I feel like if you're in a committed relationship and your girlfriend is coming from overseas just to see like the crazy amount of money she's spending just to see your ass, and you get that special visit to someone else, I mean, the girlfriend really needs to ask herself the right question. Like, I feel you should be the first. You should get the special visit. You should get all the extra stuff that you can get, because you don't get much in those relationships to begin with. So anyway, if someone gets the extra stuff and not you, this is not right. This is a red flag. Another big red flag, which is often money related too, is if the inmate is rushing in the relationship. Like, you've known each other for 3 months and they're already talking marriage. Maybe you didn't even meet yet and they're talking marriage. Even before that, if you only exchange a couple of letters and they're already talking about love, this is too fast. Like, I don't want to say that you can't feel that you can have a connection with someone, because I actually felt after 2 or 3 letters that I could be really good friends with my husband. But love, that's too early. And the reason it's a red flag is, well, first, in real life you would be like, whoa, you know. Sometimes you just have to take things out of the prison context and put them back in outside real life, because it gives you a perspective. Like, obviously you've met someone twice and they talk to you about love, you would be like, something's off, right? But the reason it's an even bigger red flag in prison relationship is because a lot of the time having a wife means having someone who will sort of take care of you, in the sense that it's someone that will put money on your book every month. So you're sure to have that amount of money every month. So yeah, unfortunately, a lot of prison marriages are money oriented for the inmates. Another huge red flag is when the inmate doesn't want you to talk about the relationship to anyone. Like, no one needs to know, no one should know. And they would tell you stories about it would be dangerous or it would be bad for X or Y or whatever. They always have good excuses. They always have stories that you might believe that will make you think that, ooh, I should really keep it a secret or he could be in trouble. Usually that person has several pen pals. You might be aware of that, and you might even know some of them, which might be why you're not allowed to talk about your relationship. I understand inmates want it to be private, and especially if they had like an infamous case or something, and so they ask you not to post on social media. You know, that's totally okay. But if they won't allow you to maybe post on your private page to your private real friends, or if they won't even let you show a picture of you two together to anyone, or if they're upset if you talk to anyone about your relationship, it's a huge red flag. I mean, if your partner doesn't want you to talk about your relationship, what does it mean? Are they ashamed of you? Which you don't want to be with someone like that. But most likely in those cases, the inmate is just having several relationships, and if everyone starts talking, then they'll find out, the girlfriends, boyfriends will find out, and the inmates will lose them all. Now, I just want to add that I don't think it's always wrong or always the inmate's fault. I think the key word is honesty, and if you're honest with each other, everything's okay. Which means that I think it's totally okay that a guy have 5 different women sending him money every month, as long as he didn't make any promise to any of them, as long as he didn't say he was in an exclusive relationship with any of them, if he's flirting with all of them. You know, like, everyone's free to do whatever works for them, as long as everyone is aware and everyone agree on this. What I hate and really pisses me off is when I know there's a girl somewhere waiting for a guy in prison that promised her marriage, eternal love, whatever she wants to hear or he thinks she wants to hear. So a girl we has promised exclusivity, and while she's waiting over there, he's kissing other women every week. I'm all for open relationships if that's what works for you. I personally could not do it with someone incarcerated because there's so little we can get from them already, and if whatever I have with my husband now I had to share with someone else, I would not think it's worth all the sacrifices. But now if everyone's game and everyone is aware, that's fine. I also think sometimes it's the outside person fault. They feel like they are in a relationship with the inmates when they're just close or maybe flirty a little bit. Flirting is not being in a relationship. That's not what I'm talking about here. So if your pen pal is flirting with you and you send them money, you probably shouldn't expect exclusivity from them. And also, a thing that seems to happen a lot is to receive a letter, it gets to your house and you think it's for you, and when you open it you realize it's addressed to someone else. And you can see that the inmate is telling them, that third person, the exact same thing they're telling you when you think you are in an exclusive relationship with them. So definitely it's not even a red flag here, it's like you got your answer right. And I don't know why so many inmates make that mistake. I guess they want to get caught deep inside, but it happens a lot. I guess basically you just have to be attentive to what the inmate is telling you. If they can't explain certain costs or certain spendings, if they can't explain certain relationships, I mean it's the same as a regular outside relationship. If you know that your husband is earning that much money every month, but then there is 200 missing all the time, you will be like, okay, but what are you doing with it? Or if he's supposed to be at home at 6 p.m. and he never comes home before 9 p.m. If you ask him about it and he can't explain it, then you know there's an issue. In prison, they kind of use that against you because you can never really know what's going on. You can't check if something really breaks. You might not even know what things really cost. They can basically tell you whatever they want. And some of them are really good at manipulating people. And you kind of have to remember sometimes that people are in prison for a reason too. They are not all exactly 100% honest. And one super important thing that I think is not reminded a lot is if they lie to you about their conviction. In the United States, at least, everything is public record, so you can just go to the inmate, search on the BOB or on the DOC, and you can see what the conviction and the sentence is. If the inmate lied to you on any of the things, you need to wonder why. Of course, if it's a horrible crime, maybe they were not ready to tell you right away, but once you get in a relationship, well, you should know. You should know why they're inside. You should know almost everything. If you get in a serious relationship, you should definitely know what the convictions are. I know this video applies mostly to met while incarcerated couples, but I think there are still things that apply to couples who met before prison. I hope I didn't offend anyone, especially couples who met while incarcerated, because we are a met while incarcerated couple ourselves. I just want you to be aware and careful, because I don't want you to be waiting for a few years for someone who does not deserve it or who is playing you. If I can give one piece of advice, it would be to make sure that your relationship is based on love and not interest, and it's valid for both sides. You do need to ask yourself, why do I want that relationship? Is it really about love? Is it really about that person? Or is it because it's convenient or whatever it can bring you? And is the other person also in the relationship for love? You do need to trust your gut feeling. If you feel that something's off, something's probably off. So do check, do ask question. If you don't like the answer, ask again. like any relationship, the most important thing, and probably even more with prison, is trust. So you need to build trust. If you can't get trust, if everything always sounds catchy, run away. Those are the red flags that came to mind when I was asked the question. There's probably way more that I'm forgetting about right now, or maybe some that I don't even know about. So if you want to add your red flags in the comment section, that is really welcome. Please do add. I just want to start a conversation. I just want to share my experience. I know that when I was getting in that relationship, when I was falling in love with my husband, I was looking for stories like mine to kind of reassure me that it's possible, or reassure me that you can find happiness this way. And so I just want to share my experience. But obviously I still have a lot to learn, and I'm learning things every day. Prison is such a different world, and I know it's scary, and it's suffocating, and I'm just trying to help people navigate into this. So I hope you find this video useful, and I see you next time. Bye. Information, you might not know what things really cost either, so well, you can check on my Tumblr because I post all the list.